All right, let's be honest here. If we were kids and we're going to school these days and we're in COVID times, would you be loving homeschooling or would you be dying to go back to school?
I would love it.
You would like homeschool?
Yes.
Dude, I did homeschool, man.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Wait,
so-
but did you say you liked
As a
it?
kid though, as like a baby?
Baby. All of a sudden he's a baby.
I think I hated school since I was a kid.
But what about seeing your friends there?
I saw my friends other ways. Like after school, I would go outside and
Oh, yeah,
play.
yeah.
Like as soon as everyone was out of school, like I would have sick days, right? And then I would go out.
What if like your parent and then their parent were like, no, COVID,
Yeah,
can't
COVID
see each
times.
other.
See, I don't know about that because I never did that. But in 8th grade, I did homeschool and it was the funnest shit ever. Because I
Really?
got to go online and jack off whenever the fuck I wanted. And
Going to class again, Mom. Don't come in.
He's so student.
And they didn't have online school, bro. Like back then, it was fucking mail order. All the shit that they gave you was so you.
Packets?
Yeah, you get packets. You do your homework, so you could get the answers online, or you go to the library and shit. You could get all the answers. And how are they gonna check when you have a test? Like they can't check that shit. They just give you a packet. And my mom's not watching me. I just I just send the mail back. And
Fax
that's
it
it. And eventually, I just stopped doing my work.
That was my continuation school, but I had to go to physical school to do that.
Continuation. Oh, is that in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because of the reason that I spent a whole year in Mexico in the middle of my high school. No, in Mexico, like in Mexico. Then
You have to make up your credits, right?
I had to make up the credits. I had to go to continuation school, and that's what it was. It was just they would hand you packets, but you had to actually physically go and do the packets at the school.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was the latter half of my high school.
I do feel like we're gonna have like this generation is probably gonna be the dumbest kids we've ever had.
Yeah.
Why?
Just because all the homeschooling, there's like internet issues, like teachers are freaking out. It's just like a lot of kids need that in person. Like if you're a smart, studious kid, well, maybe like I guess the education gap will be the biggest gap. Because if you're a smart, studious kid, you could study on your own, and sometimes the teacher slows you down. So if you have a smart kid like that, you're probably killing it.
Yeah.
But then there's also the regular people that need like the teacher to like, drill it into them.
I see.
And I think majority of kids are like that, and they're probably not getting education.
Where does the kid that is like, when he's in class, he's too social and he's talking to everyone, gets distracted, gets bad grades?
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking about Isaac actually. And well, he never got bad grades, but like he was not doing as good as he's doing now because he doesn't have those distractions. He's actually liking, like in terms of his school, like education, his school performance, he's loving being homeschooled.
So I think some kids are probably killing it like
But
that.
the social aspect,
Oh, he's
the
sad,
social
huh?
aspect is what's getting him depressed.
You need to learn how to make friends.
Well, he can. He's in a brand new school, and they're only online. Like it's really bad.
And no kids are playing in the streets. Yeah.
Brand new
it's
school.
nuts.
People don't play on the streets no more.
They don't. It's
No,
freaking
at
nuts.
all. Like he can't make any
They're
friends.
not down to like, you can't be like, hey, anybody want to hang out after? No one's down to hang out.
No one's who's gonna send
Well, it's lame,
their
though.
kids.
He's
Like,
in 7th grade. Remember how awkward you were just being
I had
in
a
regular school?
hell of friends in 7th grade.
Yeah, but imagine being in a brand new school, not knowing anyone, only seeing people via your computer screen, having zero social interaction, only whenever the teacher pairs you up with someone.
What if
but
he hangs
doesn't-
out at that Foster's Freeze?
Yeah. Easy
I don't know,
solution.
man.
There's a lot of kids at that Foster's
I'm gonna
Freeze.
teach them how to make friends.
That's where all the cool kids hang out. Foster Freeze.
Yeah, but it sucked too because they were, I don't know about now, but like in the beginning, the parks were closed. He couldn't even socialize with anyone at all. Like it's just been bad. I don't know.
Damn, that is rough.
Crazy.
rough.
But the reason why I said I would love it though is because I always like sleeping in.
That's true. You could roll out of bed and hop
Just
on.
start
Yeah.
and don't turn your camera on and like just be listening. I'm like, okay.
I think it's easier to cheat.
Yeah.
Because as I went through my high school to college career, that's when I was in college, that's when everything would be online. And I was like, dude, it's too easy. Yeah. It's too easy. I wouldn't even show up to class and I would just be like,
Damn,
let's get it
dude.
done.
I had a what do you call it?
Morals?
So I think in college, it was like I want to prove to myself that I'm actually not a dumb fuck, And if I never challenged myself, I don't know. I was too fucking honorable, dude.
Damn, dude.
I hate myself.
Now you're making me feel like a piece of shit.
No,
Thanks,
because
yo. Fuck, dude,
because in high school and all that
What's the next
stuff, I
Bart?
didn't even do any work or nothing.
I'll make you feel good.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
thanks, dude.
if I never even try, how would I even know if I can fucking stand up in this world against like whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because like I'm just avoiding shit. So then I went to college and I'm like, all right, motherfucker, I'm gonna fucking win at this game.
Hey.
Hey, you know what? I had a very different attitude going in. I was like, these motherfuckers are robbing us. They're taking our fucking money. Like these classes I'm in, I don't even learn shit.
Then why are you still in it?
I know, but that was the thing. It was like, I
Supposed to do it.
You gotta play ball. You know what I mean? You gotta play ball. Most of the classes I did not like because they just seemed like the teachers would phone it in. I had this one professor. He would brag about how he was tenured, and he would have PowerPoint sheets, and he'd sit at the desk and just read from the PowerPoint sheet.
Oh my God.
Not
had a
even post
teacher
them
like
up.
that.
Not even post them
I had
up
a
or
teacher
send
like
it out, and then be like, yeah, the test is on what I said.
Dang, teachers be lazy.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So he's doing it just because he's forced to do it, but he doesn't even want it.
I don't even know what's going through his fucking head.
Well, that seems to be the case in San Francisco because now San Francisco is in such a dire situation where the city itself is suing the school district of San Francisco.
How are you gonna sue your whole school?
It's never happened before, like ever in all of the U.S. So the city is suing its own school district because the school district refuses to open up the schools. And well, granted, we are in a pandemic, so there are reasons why they're not opening it up, but the city doesn't feel that the school district even has a plan. And the idea is that you're planning to plan, but there's no
Yeah.
actual plan.
They're like, you're being a lazy shit, we're gonna sue you.
And that was the complaint too when the pandemic first happened. I coached a lot of kids and their parents, and they were telling me that like, yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen. Even for the first like 6 months, they're like, we're still just kind of
Like the school
free balling
system?
it. Yeah, like they don't really
But
have
the
a
teachers
plan.
like sleeping in too, and they're like, I like rolling out of bed and just teaching.
Like this is tight.
So
They're in their bathrobes
what doesn't
and
make
shit.
sense to me is like the school system gets paid by like taxpayers, homeowners, whatever, right?
tax, yeah.
And then like if they're being lazy with the money, aren't they doing a shitty ass job? Like if they don't have a plan, if they don't know like any system or structure.
Starts from the top, right?
Exactly.
Because it's not really the teacher's fault.
Yeah,
lot of the
because
time.
it's the top. Yeah. And then like they get to keep their fat ass salary while nothing happens. Like that's some lazy ass shit,
Fuck
dude.
yeah. Yeah, because even Isaac's school, like they're constantly updating us and communicating with plans and like, oh, by this date, this is when we're projecting to have like from kindergarten to second grade kids come in. And then like they're constantly updating us. Like when we had the new stay-at-home order, they're like, well, we wanted to get kids back in by January something, but then we had to like move it or whatever. They're constantly communicating.
That's really good. Is that a public school or is that a?
It's a public school.
Yeah, that's crazy because I have some teacher friends and stuff. Like I stayed friends with some of my teachers from high school and stuff, and listening to them, like it's like they're like, yeah, they just kind of handed us. They're like, it was just like, well, take your plan and make it online. It was just like that's not like
Easy.
Apples to oranges, yeah.
Yeah.
they have to figure out how to use all these new programs that like nobody ever taught them how to use. They have to learn how to like keep their kids interested. You know, it's hard enough like if I'm here like yelling, like talking to you in person, much less like all these kids tuned in like virtually.
Gaming on the other screen.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can pull out my phone while I'm on my laptop, and I could just be playing games
Yeah.
like this while I'm staring into the fucking screen like
And
bitch.
why wouldn't you do that if you're a kid?
Exactly.
Or you could just record like a 30-minute
Like
reaction,
loop of you like.
and every time it's class, just play that, and then go back to sleep.
Dude, I was reading an article. Some kid figured out that he could just title his name like on the Zoom app or whatever. He wrote reconnecting ... and he just sat there and he never had to say anything or interact with the class, and he just sat there waiting for the class to end.
Wait, but then how does he
Genius.
know that the teacher, or like how does the teacher know he's there or participating or what?
Well, he has bad internet, and you can't really blame the kid for bad internet. It's kind of like that's the
Spectrum,
loophole.
dude. Spectrum's the worst,
Hey,
bro.
so
Spectrum's the
so
worst.
what exactly are they getting sued for? Do you know?
They're getting sued for. Let me see. What is the most?
Some bullshit.
Negligence.
Yeah. Bullshit, negligence.
Screwing the next generation.
Yeah. All those actually.
So the argument is
All of the
like.
above.
The argument is like, well, there's data being shown that like through distance learning, particularly Black, Latino, and Asian low-income students are not, gaining ground in their education as opposed to the white counterparts. That's like some data that they were arguing with, and And they're also saying that a lot of private schools are also open. Like in San Francisco, private schools are open, like in class teaching, all that stuff.
They're doing it.
So like they're doing it. Why are the public schools? Why are they refusing to make a plan to even approach this
that's
kind of
shady.
like end goal? So like there doesn't seem to be an end goal. And
So that kind of goes back to what Bart was saying, how like there's gonna be a huge gap of like
yeah.
more kids that had time and that what do you call it, like they had a head start because during the pandemic they had a better education versus like the poorer kids that had a shit education.
Oh, kind of like with even in the job economy, like just the economy.
Small businesses,
like, yeah, exactly. Small businesses are shutting down. They can't make ends meet, and then rich people are just getting richer.
See, like when we went to Hawaii, because obviously they did the another lockdown in California, and all the small businesses were like, all right, figure it out, go ahead. All the restaurants especially. But in Hawaii, they had a plan. Like everything was open, but it was under strict regulations. It was like, you can't be in a restaurant for more than an hour and a half.
Oh, cool.
They have contact tracing, so when you go in and eat, you have to fill out a form. So if somebody gets exposed, the restaurant will call you back and be like, hey, just so you know.
Shit.
And they had a plan for everything. They had like, they had the dividers.
And they followed through on that. That's amazing that they followed through on it.
But once again, it starts from the top. Like their I don't know that much about their governor, but in contrast from Hawaii to California, it just seemed like Newsom was like, all right, figure it out. Go ahead, just do your thing.
Dude, have you seen the stats? Like they put more rules on LA, and then we got the spike. Like, how did that even happen?
Really?
Because everybody's just so cooped up, right? It's like they're just like, fuck it.
It's kind of like with parenting. Like the more you tighten the leash on your crazy teenager,
More
the
restriction.
more they're gonna rebel.
Or maybe it could also just be the illogical rules.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense.
After 10 you gotta go inside, and then there's all these memes like, why? Because after 10 virus goes to sleep or something. But all the Hawaii rules, it's like
after 10 it does.
Yeah, it does it. But like all the Hawaii rules, everything like makes logical sense. So you're like, oh, I'll follow that. I get why I have to write my name down, because then if there's a case, you'll call me and I'll go get checked.
Well, also Hawaii has a much more insular population. Like they're literally on a fucking island with a tiny little population of people. So like I remember when it first started happening, they like cut off a lot of flights. Like you couldn't come into Hawaii at all, or if you did, you had to quarantine for like a big chunk of time. I think it was like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 10 days, something like that.
And they would check in on you because I knew some people that had to go for like some family stuff, and then they would check in and they had like trackers on your phone to figure out if you were actually where you are, and they would call in and check on you and be like, are you at the hotel? Because if you're not, we're gonna fine you.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So they can control that a lot more. And then I know in California they were just kind of like, oh yeah, you should quarantine. And then
when I came back, they were like
happened.
10-day quarantine mandatory, but
Yeah, who's checking though? No one's checking up on
I
that.
just felt kind of like insulted. Like no one checked up on me.
No one cares.
Nobody cares, dude.
No, but then also you have people like in the OC who are fucking protesting about wearing masks. Like, how is California gonna enforce anything when people are like, you're infringing on my rights? We're like,
Yeah, no, I agree. That's the part that I don't know about. Like, you're like, oh yeah, people will just follow logical rules. It's like, I don't know, man. People are dumb.
People are dumb. I mean, you can't. There's
People
no
are
way
dumb,
around
man.
that.
It's just probably harder because our population's like the size of, it's bigger than Canada. Like there's a lot of
like a
people
country.
here.
That's
Yeah,
true.
so we just have a lot of people.
A lot of demographics.
And it doesn't help that our own governor who puts these rules out,
yeah,
and
no,
he says it with a
I-
smirk every
I-
single time, and then he does the exact opposite.
Yeah, and then he goes
handsome.
and he eats at a restaurant.
Handsome, that bastard, that
I know,
rat
he is
bastard.
handsome though.
he reminds me of like American Psycho.
Yeah. Like he'll slit your throat, you know what I mean?
Like you're handsome, but it's wrong. But you're gonna do some crazy shit.